So we need to find sine of 2 theta and cosine of 2 theta if the sine of x, or 2x and whatever, sine, let's put the theta here. If the sine of theta equals negative 7/8 and theta is in the third quadrant. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is draw the picture. And since it's in the third quadrant, the angle comes out like this and goes up to the x-axis. And if the sine is negative 7/8, and here's your negative 7, and your hypotenuse is 8, right? So I can find the other side, and the other side is going to be x squared plus negative 7 squared equals 8 squared. So that's x squared equals 64 minus 49, which is 15, I think. X squared equals 15. So that's going to be the square root of 15 is x. Somebody check that for me. The first thing you do is you finish your triangle, and then you're going to write out in this first little box, you're going to say, well, then the cosine of theta is root 15 over 8, and we know the sine of theta is negative 7/8. And by the way, is the cosine negative or positive in the third quadrant? All students take calculus, so it's also going to be negative. Everybody get that? Mm-hmm. And now we're going to use those two numbers. These are the numbers we're going to use. This is our little toolbox to find the sine of 2 theta and the cosine of 2 theta. So I'm going to look at the formulas. And on the sine of 2 theta, it's a no-brainer. There's only one formula to use. And so it's 2 sine of theta, cosine of theta. Well, what is the sine of theta? Negative 7/8. And what is the cosine of theta? Negative root 15 over 8. All right, and you leave it in radical form. So that becomes positive 14 root 15 over 64. And it becomes a positive. And you can reduce that 14 over 64 to 7/32. So that was going to be 7 root 15, 7 root 15 over 32. And that should be the sine of 2 theta. The cosine of 2 theta, you have 3 choices of what formulas you use. Does it matter which one you pick? Nope. It's just, pick your poison. So we can do cosine squared minus sine squared. So it's going to be cosine. It's going to be cosine squared of theta minus sine squared of theta. Cosine squared of theta would be negative root 15 over 8 squared minus negative 7 over 8 squared. And that's going to be 15 over 64 minus 49 over 64, which is negative 34 over 64, which is negative 17 over 32.